Hello. Need need to check out whether you're able to hear me. I should do it myself before you start. Before I start. I want to tell you about my plan. So it's worked correctly, and we will start from that point. And first of all, I want to tell you about story due with my shopping, and I bought couple cars for my little baby, and one of them uh, was too expensive. But when I brought it at home, my little baby was scared of it and ran off. Uh, Despite she love she loves car and things like that, which can slide or ride on the ground, on the floor, if on the flat, if I may be more correctly. And much more astonishing that she she had like uh, much more cheaper car that costed about 10 times cheaper than first one, and she playing with it with pleasure. And there is point that we shouldn't think that if we buy something expensive and in our opinion something amazing, it's not obliged will be suitable for our children. A couple of weeks ago, I had acquaintance with one of Muslims in our mosque who work as teacher in one of private school for 6 years, and I was amazing to know it because I I haven't got a friend who speak in English, and much more than it who work as teacher in school. It's impressive things to know. And want to tell you about this story. And when I met my friend um, who, whom I know from 2010, uh, I was asked by him where I work at present, and I narrated him about my new work as teacher at school. And he was puzzled about this information, more particularly, if I may more particularly express that how I became a teacher, if I never studied well in the school or university, and I don't look like man who um, deviate to study something else. And according with this, I explained him how I became a teacher, how much time I spent spending I'm spending on my uh, lessons to improve myself in English. I every day stumble with new and new problems which trouble me. But I understand that if I uh, give up right now, I never reach to point where I will be speak rapidly and fluently without delays. And he complained to me that English quite hard to wield, one of the crowd exclaimed that no, English is very easy to understand and speak. I immediately asked him whether he able to speak English himself, and after uh, astonishment, he answered me that he worked as teacher and he able to do it without problem. And after that assertion, I asked him again whether if he live in a country with native English, for example, in England or maybe USA, and he asked that he did, and I explained him that there is there is point why he willed English to properly and speak without delays and others problems with it, problems with it. And today I have new friend who uh, neither not only speak English fluently, but also work as teacher. That is quite important for me to know such people who work in other school, because if I will stumble with problem in my own one, I will be able to call him and ask for work if he will have something. I noticed we have a new one who watched this video. I should say hello, my friend. Who are you? Please, can you um, give me to know something about you? Please write down your name in chat, and I will glad to have acquaintance with you. Maybe my chat don't work, and I supposed to pass yields tests. For example, 7.5 yields test online. Oh, it's too boring to find something like that. I will avoid this. Oh, my friend Artyom Hurtov, how are you? I'm feel good. I'm every time glad to see you, my friend. It's my friend from other channel, named like his name Artyom Hurtov. We acting with him, and we know each other about 2 years from our party of bloggers, where we had acquaintance, and since we have good relationship between us, and I hope we will have it subsequently. What is your work? Please tell me, Artem Hurtov. We have five guests in my stream, and maybe someone want to tell uh, his name or his work, what he going to do today, and something about his life, maybe uh, something particular, or main information about his life. I wish I had more. I wish I had more friends who willed English to practice with each other, because uh, narrate about nothing is useless, as you can see, and quite dull to sit here and speak without particular team. Please left your message in the chat and we will speak with you. If you have desire, you may left your contacts and we will speak with you in on air right now. It's quite easy to do. You only you only should to have desire to do that. Whatever you want, I will agree with you if you join in my stream. You will be allowed to decide theme of our conversation and direction of our discussing. I obliged to confess that I again stumbled with problem when I studied the text about customs. I mean, customs at the airport, and there were too much trouble which I can understand and overpass. For example, new idioms or things which I never what I that I never stumbled before, and I assure that only way to understand these sentences, to memorize them and to use as idioms. There is no reason to explain you that only way to understand English or other language to speak using idioms, and only after that assertion you should use your own sentences, for example, as I do. uh, Before that I thought that quite easy to construct your own sentences if you already know grammar things, but today I understood that quite important to memorize as much as you can idioms which use native speakers to be more understandable for those who listen to you and have more interesting, complicated sentences while you have a conversation. And you also will stumble with problem as can you imagine you appeared at ra- rail station and you should to ask someone how to get to another station, and how much cost the ticket, and what you're supposed to do to reach another city or the country. Uh, you immediately stumble with problems that you can explain even such mere things, because those things these things emerge from idioms, and for example, mm, uh, Englishmen using idioms to have a mm, uh, conversation with each other. Even when he drinking tea in their flat, they using such idioms like "Would you care for a cup of tea?" Uh, if you it if it's not too much trouble for you, uh, will you will you take milk or take your milk or sugar, a dash of milk and two lumps of sugar for me. Uh, as you if you heard that again we stumbled with idioms and all this conversation was constructed only in idioms and you can avoid learn those ones if you really want to speak. But if you want to know English only for some kind of examine or other things due with grammar, and you don't want to speak freely, you can avoid those rule. But if you have firm desire to speak as that do Englishmen, you should already know those things that they use every day, every time when they go to the post office or shop or maybe other places which we attend every day, which we attend, what we're attending every day. And I trying to put out of my mind what I want to narrate you, but I obliged to confess that I totally forget. Ah, of course, I want to speak with you about teacher of English or English teacher, if you don't mind. Every day, due is my professional due is my profession. I searching new channels about English and trying to find something new. Maybe it's supposed to be a new program, and I see every day same pictures that those channel who supposed to be teachers for you and explain you things of English don't have any their own videos with uh, into English and only explain you in each video how to speak in English, but they never speak themselves. Sorry, and of course, many of them offer you uh, new programs for buying, and they quite expensive. And you should understand that those programs you may compare with common books that you can buy in any bookkeeper shops, and there is no uh, reason to think that those channel owner much more thinkable than those who uh, wrote down books like this one. I bought it for 176, and I saved much money when I bought it because was in it have been light in the um, part of magazine where shopkeeper keeping sales things, and I assure you, from this book you can learn much more than from this channel. You waste much time on particular things of grammar which you could learn from this book for 1 minute. For example, those men explain you uh, what difference between for example, tell and say, and you after watching this video think that you understood something new at length, but indeed you don't know nothing because you waste much of your time on things which you uh, would learn from common English grammar book for 1 minute. And I repeat again, don't waste your time on those teachers from YouTube. You'd better find a proper book uh, where you will be explained how to uh, know grammar in much better ways that do those who learn in YouTube. And after all, when you have wield this book, you able to buy a new one and find something new. Um, if you have reached desired to learn English, you should understand that you, you can't deprive, you can't restrict yourself only one book. You should uh, have read at least three once before you understand something in English. But of course, first of all, you should understand what you hear while you're looking new films or serials, and after all, begin to learn how to speak. And there is no other way as speak every day or at least every week with those knowledge that you wield already, and in order of that you should listen and speak as much as you can. But if you have many friends, you'd better to find someone who want to practice with you, and I wish will you will manage it and after all speak fluently. But as you can see, I have problem, and sometimes I make enormous delays between sentences because I speak same in Russian, and if you watch some uh, video from my channel, you may be told that I can speak without delays and fluently in Russian, but those video made with preparations but when I beginning to beginning stream, there you can see real me without uh, any preparations and team. If I will do same thing in Russia, I will speak much more worse than I do it right now. Of course, provided I haven't got a team for speaking. But unless I haven't got friend who uh, speak me help speak with me, and it would be much better if I find someone who have decision to speak with me at least one time a week. Right? One time a week. I don't know what I should to say else, and maybe it's time. It's about time to make a move and close my streaming. I'm glad to see you, my friend, and I hope I will see you again. And whatever you think about yourself, please, if you have willing to speak with me, please left your message in the chat, and I will uh, not will be noticed that, and will speak with you. Okay, bye. It's about time to go, but I don't understand how to close my streaming. I find it.